More innovation from Status Audio. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Status Audio is CEO James Bertuzzi. Hi, James.
Hey, Fred. Thanks for having me.
Well, great to see you. And before jumping into what is brand new, tell us the Status Audio story.
Sure. So we've been around for about a decade now. It's hard to believe that, but we've been essentially making wireless and wired audio products for roughly 10 years. So we started with a very different approach than we're doing right now, actually. Our original intent was to make the best studio monitor headphone under $80. That was the intent with which I brought, our first product out, right? So we wanted to become a staple in recording studios and any sort of critical listening environments. And our intention was to disrupt the standard studio monitors, which were Audio-Technica M50s and the Sony MDR 7506s. So, pretty niche and specific in terms of what we were trying to do. And that was our Status Audio CB1 headphones. And over the first 5 years of the company, we did do some other products, but it was this studio monitor headphone that really helped us gain momentum and gave us our name. We had a lot of credibility with mix engineers, tracking engineers, people in recording studios. So that's what started the brand. That's how I started the brand. And then sometime around 2018, 2019, it became clear that wireless audio was the future, specifically true wireless audio. And like a lot of things, Apple really expedited that and launched the AirPods, and it became this real cultural phenomenon. So we decided to move into wireless audio, but I kind of thought, how could we be different than what all the other brands are doing? How can we bring some sort of professional capability to wireless audio? And that's how we started to formulate what would become the Between Pro, which we launched in 2020, which were a triple driver true wireless earbuds. So basically, we took an acoustic system that was um, deployed in like in-ear monitors and on-stage monitors that musicians wear. So these really expensive, quite large, quite, decorated sometimes multi-driver wired earbuds that had, some sort of hybrid arrangement, right? Like a dynamic driver and then 4 or 5 balanced armature drivers. So the idea was to bring that acoustic system to a wireless form factor. So what we did with the Between Pro was put a 10 millimeter dynamic driver with 2 balanced armature drivers. And, after that, we really became quite well known for having the best sounding true wireless earbud. We followed that up with Between 3A and C, which was the same acoustic system, but adding noise cancellation, transparency mode, a companion app, just a much more robust product that's competitive with basically anything on the market. And that's taken us to today, where we're launching the Pro X, which is the third iteration of our true wireless earbuds. That's even better in every capacity. I suspect we're going to talk about that now. But that's where we're at. It's been a really interesting journey. It's a fun space to play in. It's a crowded space if you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing. And we like to think that, we're doing something quite different.
Well, congratulations on all of that and the focus on innovation. So, the Pro X, give us the overview.
So the most remarkable thing, and I would say what took us the most development time, we've been working on this for 2 years. So when the 3ANC launched in 2023, we were already putting the pieces together for the Pro X. And it's smaller. It's significantly smaller, about 21% smaller on the earbuds themselves, and the charging case has gotten quite a bit smaller as well. But not only is it smaller in overall volume, but we've changed the ergonomic system on the earbuds so it sits much more flush to the face, fits better for long-term comfort. And yeah, that's I would say the most like arduous and time-consuming part of developing wearable audio is the wearable aspect. Ears are remarkably complex and they're different from person to person. So we'd like to say there's a super scientific process, and there kind of is, but it's a lot of 3D printing, slight iterations to the earbud shape and testing them on all our friends and family and employees and anybody who's open to having an earbud model stuck in their ears. So that really took us a ton of time, but we've arrived at a shape and a fit that we think is fantastic and suits a lot of ears. So yeah, size and ergonomics, that was the first major thing that we did.
Well, what are some of the challenges when you're reducing the size by that 21%? You don't want to give up much in the way of battery life, and obviously you don't want to give up anything in the quality of the sound. So how do you go about meeting those challenges?
So you brought up battery life, which is the first consideration, right? It's hard to make something smaller without compromising on, the largest component, which generally is the battery and the PCBA, right? But the battery is usually the largest component in a wireless earbud. So fortunately, while we were trying to reduce the volume of the product, the advancements in silicon and just chipsets and efficiency in general was in our favor as well, right? So we were able to deploy a more efficient chipset with a smaller battery to end up with a battery life and a longevity that's a little bit less than the three ANC, but really in the same ballpark. We're at around 7 hours with ANC on, which is quite good. You turn ANC off, you get more longevity. But yeah, we were fortunate to have, and there's continuous development in wireless technology where these products are getting more efficient from a battery life perspective. So we're going to keep trying to reduce the battery size as the chipsets get more efficient because form factor and wearability is extremely important.
So is there a particular type of customer that you're aiming for with these?
Yeah, so it's definitely not the average listener, someone who just wants a wireless earbud, perhaps one that's in the same ecosystem as their phone, whether it's an Apple phone or an Android or a Samsung. We appeal to I hate to call them audiophiles because that term has so much baggage, but we we are definitely for someone who is down to uh, do some research, expects a bit more acoustically. That's obviously the thing we do better than anybody else. But someone who wants a higher performing wireless earbud and is willing to invest in it. We're far from the cheapest option out there. You can go on Amazon and buy wireless earbuds for like $20. That's just not our customer. So for us, life got a lot easier when we realized who we were selling to, who our customer was, and who they weren't. So, this is a massive market. I would say everybody owns at least one pair of wireless earbuds. So, we're trying to appeal to that power user, that enthusiast that wants more and is willing to invest in it.
Well, you mentioned some brand names, and there is so much competition out there. Some trying to compete in the space that you're in here. What do you feel some of your key advantages are in the market?
Sure. So I would start with the speaker drivers, the acoustic system. I mean, this is real hardware differentiation, right? And, in the simplest way possible, we have three speaker drivers, they have one. At best, a couple have two, but it's not nearly the capability of our hybrid dynamic driver, which is a traditional moving coil driver that everybody else has. And then we're adding two Knowles balanced armature drivers, which are these professional, medically adjacent, tweeters that reproduce mids and highs in just a completely different way than a dynamic driver. So, if you're paying attention and you care about sound, the experience with your music is just so much different. You are hearing details and just aspects of your music that you just don't get with a run-of-the-mill wireless earbud. So that's the main thing, and that's how we're bringing people in to our brand and our products is by really telling that story, saying, "Hey, you're going to get a palpable, different experience with these earbuds." So that's number one. Number two is design. We just don't look like anybody else on the market. We have really unique, sophisticated design language. Again, not for everybody. It's certainly a bit of a statement to wear our products. Um, and then on top of that, and what we've really tried to do with this new product is do all the other features that our competitors are doing as well, if not better than they are. So a big thing that we're pushing in this product is the call quality. So wireless call quality is probably the second use case for wireless earbuds. It's listening to music and then talking on the phone. In fact, I think a lot of people probably talk on the phone with their wireless earbuds more than they listen to music. But it's at least the number two use case. So we've introduced something called Voice Loom AI speech enhancement, which we spent a ton of time and money on developing. And basically, it's an AI solution to isolate your voice and attenuate all the, cacophony around you, whether you're in an office or on the street. We're in New York, so it's like noise pollution capital of the world. So we had a really good testing ground for that. But that's where we spent just as much time on the acoustics was with this speech enhancement solution where, if I'm on the phone, I'm out on the street, it is isolating my voice, three beamforming mics on each earbud, capture my voice and duck the sound, around me. And that's a lot more difficult than it sounds. This is like the final frontier of wireless earbud usage is getting this better than it is now because it's so annoying to be on the phone and someone can't hear you. They're saying, "Hey, I'm hearing some other guy's voice and not your voice," or I'm hearing street noise. So, that we're attacking that problem with as much attention as we are the acoustics.
Interesting. So down to the nitty gritty, I suppose. Tell us about pricing and availability.
So we are globally distributed. So we're available in just about every major market: US, Canada, UK, Western Europe, Southeast Asia. So we have a global footprint in terms of our brand. We're launching our pre-order at 249 USD, and then our full public launch will launch at 299 USD. So we're offering an incentive to pre-order the product. It's a $50 discount. We normally launch our products. We have such a good base of loyal customers that we like to put it out there about 6 weeks in advance and give people the opportunity to buy at a discount.
Just terrific. So where can people go?
Status.co. We've got a very simple domain name, very memorable. Status.co is our website. They will be available on Amazon, but the pre-order is exclusively on our website, status.co.
Terrific. James Bertuzzi, congratulations on the innovations and thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it.